Wicked is so popular, it defies all gravity, and most importantly, it makes me want to dance through life. Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome back, because today I'm going to give you guys my review for a big movie that came out just a couple of weeks ago, and it is one of the biggest releases of the year based on one of my favorite musicals of all time, Wicked, directed by Jon M, who directed In the Heights and G.I. Joe Retaliation, and it stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, Ethan Slater, Jonathan Bailey, and more. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on Wicked? I would love to know that. And with that said, let's get started. Wicked follows Elphaba, a young woman with green skin who is misunderstood and feared by many people. But as she goes to Shiz University, she forges an unlikely and profound friendship with Glinda, who is a very popular student. And following an encounter with the Wizard of Oz, their relationship is tested as they both go down very different crossroads, and things will change forever. Musicals are one of my favorite genres ever. I love watching a good musical, and Wicked is one of the earliest Broadway shows I've ever remembered seeing, and it is also one of my favorite Broadway productions of all time. And The Wizard of Oz is a fantastic movie, and I rewatched right around the time I just watched Wicked. And leading up to it, I've been following the release and the production schedule of this movie pretty closely, having known about it for a very long time. And I wasn't necessarily loving the trailers. It didn't turn me off from it, but I definitely was, reserving expectations for when the movie premieres, because they're doing the two-part release method for this, which had me very curious to see what they were going to do with that.
Interesting.
And with everything that they've shown for it, I definitely was left very curious for Wicked, having a lot of anticipation for it being a movie adaptation off of one of my favorite musicals. So now that I had the chance to go see the movie twice in theaters, I absolutely loved it. Not only is this one of the biggest surprises of the year, it really has a captivating story for Elphaba and Glinda. Starting off with the positives, the musical numbers and songs are absolutely incredible in this movie. Granted, a lot of it is from the Broadway musical, with a few original songs written in place for the movie, but a lot of it is pulled from the musical. But the songs pulled from the musical in this movie are adapted excellently. From popular Dancing Through Life to even the MVP of Defying Gravity are absolutely mesmerizing on the big screen. There is a lot of work put into them, from the cast to the effects to the practical sets and even the way it flows and it's directed. It is all very well put together. It refuses to let me look away from the screen because of how cool and well assembled a lot of these things are. The actors try really hard, and they do it successfully to sell everything that you're seeing on screen. And it is lively, it's upbeat, and some songs are really good at evoking different emotions out of you, whether it's heartbreak and sadness to gleefully optimistic. It is really well done, and it left a huge grin on my face watching it from beginning to end. And seeing these iconic songs from the musical done in a movie, also done really well in both mediums of storytelling, it's just really exciting to me. And I also thought Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were fantastic as both Elphaba and Glinda. They both knocked it out of the park with the songs. They absolutely captured the magic and the essence of Wicked with these two characters and made them so compelling to watch on screen. And I think they both put in a lot of dedication. Their dynamic with one another feels real, authentic, it feels believable. And I really felt for both characters as this movie goes on. And it does a really good job of developing the story of Elphaba and why does everyone seem to resent her and she's the odd one out. And then you have Glinda, who starts out as this really popular girl who wants all of these things because she believes she's the best.
Popular, you're gonna be popular.
And how being around each other really starts to bring out different sides out of both characters, and so as what they both want, and so as what we see of them when they are friends. And the time it takes to get there is very well done. It is satisfying when a lot of these changes take place. And as the movie goes on, it just does a fantastic job of highlighting the bond between these two characters and how it really changes Oz forever, especially when you get into the third act of this movie. And then the rest of the cast I also liked as well. Jonathan Bailey being another standout as Fiyero. He has a musical number with Dancing Through Life that is absolutely a astonishing point in this movie with the music, and he is very charming, charismatic, and once he comes in, there's a bit of a different factor added in between the characters that I really liked. And then you have Jeff Goldblum as the Wizard of Oz, Michelle Yeoh, and both of them are very good for the screen time they had in this movie, and I think overall the cast did a good job with what they had to work with, and it is a really well-paced movie. The more I thought about this movie. When I first watched it, I thought, okay, maybe it takes a bit of time. It takes a while for things to get rolling, especially near the end, with having a runtime that's nearly 3 hours long. But then I watched it again, and that issue just went away.
Because I love it in here.
I think the movie does a good job of developing these characters, the Shiz University setting, and everything we're seeing for these characters until we get to the big finale of Wicked. And I think they do a really good job of not really wasting any time to develop these characters and the story at large. And it's a really enthralling movie to sit through. And I think that it does a cool job of giving us this look of Oz where it opens in a point in time, and then you see Oz way before the events of Dorothy coming in, where we see the events of the iconic story of The Wizard of Oz take place. It is really cool. It is a really great story with really great character arcs, and so is having themes about people in society listening to the higher-ups, and so is having allegories of racism in here with Elphaba and how everybody responds to her because of how different she is from everybody, and so is with her strengths and her fighting for what she believes is right, and so is how does that affect Glinda and everybody around her, and how does Glinda grow as a person with everything that is going on. I think it is all done really well, and it is just a really fun movie. It is funny at points, but it's also really charming. It's really sweet, sincere, heartwarming, and it has a lot of the traits that I like to see in a musical of this caliber. And musicals are a genre that don't get often as much praise as they should. Granted, you have movies like Singing in the Rain, which are amazing. You had Wonka last year, which I think is really great. But studies have shown that apparently people aren't as crazy about musicals. And I just say to myself, what's wrong with you? Get out! Musicals are awesome. I love them. I'm always going to love them. So any chance of a new musical that's done really well, I cherish it. And that absolutely is the case with Wicked. This is one of the best movie musicals I have seen in a very long time. And it is one that I watched twice, loved it even more the second time, and I'm excited to watch it again before we even get Wicked Part 2. And I cannot wait to see how this will hold up as time goes on, because it is a movie that did not leave my mind after watching it. I listened to the soundtrack. I love the story. I still think it does a good job of exploring these characters and this side of Oz without Dorothy at the helm. And I like a lot of the stylistic choices they made and the camera work and how Jon M directs everything, because I thought he did a really good job with In the Heights. And here it's a lot bigger. It's a more popular story. It is more recognizable songs from the Broadway musical standpoint. And I think he shows that this man can do anything when it comes to musicals. He did a really great job with Wicked. And I really liked how it is able to balance being very serious with a sense of stakes, but also having this fun, lively energy to it at points, where there are scenes that leave me very happy to see what's going on and where these characters are about to go embark on. And then you have scenes where I sit there thinking to myself, ooh, that's dark, that's serious. I am wondering how this is going to affect everybody in the long run. And I won't spoil what happens in this movie or what will happen later, having already seen the musical, but this movie does a really great job of adapting the first half of Wicked, and it leaves me really optimistic to seeing where they take things in part 2, because there's a lot of crazy and awesome things that they do in the second half of Wicked that I'm excited to see the movie adaptation do this next year. One minor issue I have with Wicked is the lighting and scenes can be a lot better. I think In the Heights was definitely a lot better at the lighting and colorful aspects than Wicked is, but I do think Wicked looks a lot better in the movie than the trailers have suggested. It is at times really vibrant when it needs to be, and at times it really shows on screen when we're looking at Oz in a different lens compared to when Dorothy arrived in The Wizard of Oz. So we're seeing a different side of it. And so as recontextualizing things you know about The Wizard of Oz, which makes it serve as a really cool, I guess, companion piece, especially when we're going to see part 2 and how that's going to stack up against this. But the lighting can be better at points. At times, some scenes look dark and it's hard to make out the lighting on characters' faces, and it shines a lot more on the back than the front of the actors and characters. But it doesn't bother me as much, and on second viewing, these issues started to wear off a little bit more. So aside from that, I think it absolutely knocks it out of the park in every other regard. The story is amazing. The characters are great. Performances are really great too. The musical numbers are excellent. They are so good it makes me want to dance through my life, and it also makes me want to hold space for the stuff I love about it.
I've seen this week people are taking the lyrics of Defying Gravity and really holding space with that and feeling power in that.
So true.
I didn't know that was happening.
Overall, I loved Wicked. This is one of the biggest surprises of the year, and the more I thought about it, the more I love it, and it is awesome to see this movie live up to the hype, and it is undeniably one of my favorite movies of the year, and I am super excited to see where Wicked Part 2 goes with the second half of this musical. So in the end, I'm going to give Wicked an A. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. And if you're a big fan of The Wizard of Oz, I also recommend you check out Wicked as well. It is definitely a movie that is worth your time and worth seeing in the theaters. And to see a good musical, which this movie very much is. So I hope you go check it out if you can. And I'm really excited to see where part 2 goes. And I hope you all are as well.
This just feels right.
So yeah, that's my review for Wicked. What are your thoughts on the movie? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Stay tuned for some upcoming videos I have planned. And don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below at the bottom of the screen and in the description below. So please go do that while you're at it. And thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button. And stay tuned for more.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.